Most artists in the music industry never achieve massive wealth. They either get screwed over on bad record deals, end up in debt, or only see pennies on their royalty checks. But then there's the 1%. The ones who flipped the system, gave the labels the middle finger, and built empires on their own terms. You probably know most of the names on this list, but in this video, we're going deeper into exactly how they built their wealth and escaped the music industry trap. Today, we're breaking down the richest artists in the game and why the industry low-key hates them for it. Let's get into it. In an industry built on record deals and label push, Chance the Rapper pulled off the unthinkable. He skipped the label, skipped the price tag, and still won.
How a record is broken down. So they tell you, you make a song, I write and I rap the song, I record the song. Once I release the song, there is what's called a master and a publishing portion of the record. So the master is the recording of it. So if I sign a record deal or a recording deal, I sign away my masters, which means the label owns the recording of that music. On the publishing side, if I write a record and I sign away my publishing in a publishing deal, they own the composition of work. So if I play your song on piano that you wrote, I have to pay you publishing money because it comes from that idea. Or if I sing a line from that song, it's from the publishing portion.
In 2016, he dropped Coloring Book. No label, no physical copies. It debuted exclusively on Apple Music and within days made history as the first streaming-only album to hit Billboard. On top of that, he went on to do something nobody thought was possible. 100% independent, and he won a Grammy. 3 Grammys. He didn't sell a single album. He didn't sign to a major label, but he had the respect of the entire industry. Instead of chasing record deals, he valued his freedom and monetized everything else.
There's people in the industry that are not like Sylvia Rome that want to see this all fall apart so that they can prove that you need them in order to make it work. So I would say to anybody out there that's an independent artist, my #1 piece of advice, don't sign a record deal. Don't sign a distribution deal. Don't sign a publishing deal. Don't sign a management deal. Hire the people that you need to work with you. Pick out your goals and go get them done. And you could get them done and it'll work and you'll connect with your fan base and you'll make money. And your rise will be as fast or as slow as you want it to be, but you'll be in a great position.
You see, where he really made bank was his tour. The Magnificent Coloring World Tour packed venues. He sold out merch, and he turned it into his whole financial empire. Forbes even named him the 5th highest paid rapper in the world, clocking in $33 million, all without selling an album. But that wasn't it. He started getting brand deals. Kit Kat, where he appeared as Chance the Rapper. He starred in a Super Bowl commercial for Doritos. He cut checks with Nike, H&M, and even Apple gave him $500 million for the exclusive release. Chance is a clear example that you don't need a label if you work hard, make music people love, and own it. Now, they all tried to sign him. The labels tried to sign him. Kanye tried to sign him. Everybody wanted a piece. But Chance made it loud and clear in his song, No Problem. If one more label try to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in the lobby.
If one more label try to stop me.
Now, for those who don't get that line, he's basically saying that if one more label tries to disrupt what I have going on, I'm gonna bring my friends from my old neighborhood. They have dreadlocks, and we're gonna come to the offices of the record label and cause a disturbance. But I digress. But even as his bank account grew, he always stayed true to himself. He valued faith, community, and independence, all while being worth $25 million.
The best thing I would say for independent artists is continue to create, grow, and cultivate your fan base.
And yeah, he had managers and industry connections. He had to play the game a little bit, but he never signed his rights away. Chance the Rapper proved the old model was broken. He built a career without a label. He won Grammys without the traditional sales model. He toured the world on his own terms, and even got love from Barack Obama, who named Acid Rap one of his favorite albums. He beat the system all while having a smile on his face and laughing in the face to the labels that wanted a piece of what he built. Now, I think we all can agree Jay-Z doesn't need any introduction. Rising up from Brooklyn's Marcy Projects, he's now worth around $2.5 billion.
According to Forbes, Hove is officially the first hip-hop artist to become a billionaire, and it's all thanks to his many business endeavors.
But how did a rapper from the streets become one of the richest people in the music industry? You see, Jay didn't just drop hits. He made strategic business moves in fashion, tech, sports, and luxury. His story isn't just about talent or hustle or anything like that. It's about understanding the game and how to change the rules. In the early 90s, Jay-Z was just another rapper trying to get signed. But believe it or not, no one in the industry wanted to take a chance on him. They thought he was too old and had a rap style that was a little too unorthodox. So Jay-Z flipped the script. He built his own empire from the ground up. In 1995, Jay teamed up with Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke to launch Rockefeller Records. Came out with his first release, Reasonable Doubt, which is now considered a classic in the rap world.
Maybe it's for the best though. It's when they see it too much.
But Rockefeller wasn't just a platform for Jay-Z. It became a whole movement. They ran the label like a crew. You got Dame Dash with the hustle. Then you got Jay with the heat. And then Kareem Burke with the business savvy. All of this mixed with their connection to the streets. And Rockefeller completely redefined what a hip-hop label even was. They were dominant.
You know, that was the genius thing we did. We started selling our own CDs and we built our own buzz, and then the record company came back to us. So now we had a different negotiation. It wasn't the same artist-label relationship. Now we obtain ownership in our own company.
But in 2004, Jay-Z made his next big move. He sold the label to Def Jam for $10 million and stepped into an executive role as president of Def Jam Recordings. He had power in front of the mic and behind the scenes at the same time. Now, Jay still wasn't satisfied. You see, in 2008, he left Def Jam and launched Roc Nation. Roc Nation quickly expanded from a record label into managing huge artists like Rihanna, J. Cole, and DJ Khaled. It became a major entertainment force. And he still didn't stop. In 2013, Jay-Z shocked everybody by launching Roc Nation Sports, signing stars like Kevin Durant. He even sold the stake that he had in the Brooklyn Nets to make it happen. And that's the end of the Jay-Z story. Not. He still didn't stop. In 2015, he jumped into the streaming world. He bought Tidal for $56 million. Whew. Jay, help another Jay out, brother. And on top of that, he sold 33% of the company to Sprint for another $200 million in 2017. While most artists are struggling and complaining about how streaming services pay so little, here's Jay-Z buying the streaming service. He said it himself, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman." And Jay-Z kept firing off at the hip. Luxury champagne deals, $204 million sale of Rocawear. Jay turned his creativity into long-term financial security. Plus, he's not afraid to call out the music industry's flaws. In the Story of O.J.'s song, he talks about a lot of different issues, but one thing he talks about is financial literacy.
Financial freedom, my only hope.
Instead of wasting money and being flashy like he used to when he was younger, he now encourages investments and community building. The lyrics reveal mistakes that he made and lessons that he learned, and at the same time, he's trying to inspire fans on investing and escaping any systemic barriers that they might be surrounded with. Jay-Z was talking to Warren Buffett, and he said, "The industry's biggest lie is that artists can't be creative and wealthy at the same time."
That was the greatest trick in music that people ever pulled off, is to convince artists that you can't be an artist and make money. I think the people that were making millions actually set that. I think they set that whole thing up. You know, it was almost like shameful, like especially in rock and roll. You had to pretend that, you know, you got these millionaire guys who had to pretend as if they weren't successful at all, or it would be like a detriment to their career.
His blueprint is own your art, run your business, change the game. All right, Swifties, it's your turn. Taylor Swift signed her first deal at just 15 years old. And like most new artists, she signed away her masters. Fast forward to 2019, Scooter Braun bought her old label, Big Machine, and with it, the rights to her first 6 albums.
It's just unbelievable.
How did you find out?
I found out when it was online, like when it hit the news.
Nobody in your inner circle
Nobody knew.
And you didn't smell it?
No. I knew he would sell my music. I knew he would do that. I couldn't believe who he sold it to, because we've had endless conversations about Scooter Braun. And he has 300 million reasons to conveniently forget those conversations.
Taylor called it her worst nightmare. Not just because of the deal, but it meant that a man that she described as a bully now controlled her life's work. She tried to buy her masters back, but she says that Scooter Braun refused unless she agreed to sign a gag order that she would stay quiet. And then came the final straw. You see, Scooter Braun turned around and sold the masters to an investment firm, Shamrock Capital, for $400 million. He didn't even give Taylor the option to try to bid them out.
After I was denied the chance to purchase my music outright, my entire catalog was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings in a deal that I'm told was funded by the Soros family, 23 Capital, and the Carlyle Group. To this day, none of these investors have ever bothered to contact me or my team directly to perform their due diligence on their investment in me, to ask how I might feel about the new owner of my art. And of course, Scooter never contacted me or my team to discuss it prior to the sale, or even when it was announced.
And that's when Taylor decided to flip the script. She didn't just protest, she launched a whole revolution. Instead of fighting over her old recordings, she just said, "I'm gonna make new ones, bitch." I don't know if she said those exact words, but that's what I imagine her saying. She announced that she re-recorded all 6 albums as Taylor's version.
Now, could you re-record?
Oh yeah.
Might you do that?
Oh yeah.
That's a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the one who made this music first. I can just make it again.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. When something says in parentheses Taylor's version next to it, that means I own it, which is exciting.
It wasn't just a middle finger to the people who owned her music. It was a business play designed to devalue the originals, and it worked. Fearless debuted at #1 and outsold the original. The new Red album broke streaming records. Major radio stations started playing her re-recordings instead of the originals. Fans started to stream just the new ones to support Taylor. Even brands and movie studios licensed Taylor's versions over the old ones. She basically sabotaged the resale value of the original masters and regained her power in the process.
It was an amazing experience, and this was something that started out as a really hard thing I went through. The fans are the people, they were just saying to me over and over again, we want to listen to your versions. If you redo it, that's what we'll listen to.
Taylor's fight sparked a whole movement. New artists like Olivia Rodrigo started pushing for better contracts. The labels felt the heat. Universal even changed the wording in their contracts to stop the new artists from re-recording their music too soon. Now that's dark, but hey, it's the music industry, baby.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Whether you love her or not, Taylor made it impossible for the industry to ignore artists' rights. And here's the kicker. She didn't just take her music back. Her re-recordings raked in millions. But the real jackpot was her Eras tour, the highest grossing tour in music history, crossing the $1 billion mark by the end of 2023. Currently, her net worth sits around $1.6 billion. And it gets even better. On May 30th of this year, 2025, Taylor announced that she officially bought back her original masters, the original 6 albums that Scooter Braun had bought and sold before. After a 6-year battle, she now owns everything. The original recordings, the re-recordings, the visuals, the licensing rights, all of it. No label, no middleman, just Taylor. It was the ultimate full circle moment. She didn't just fight the system, she beat it. And in doing so, she set a blueprint for every artist out there who ever felt powerless in the contract. So I guess you can say her old label, and Scooter Braun will always have...
Please don't say it.
Don't say it. Don't you dare say it.
They'll always have bad blood. All right, I'm sorry. I had to put that in there. I won't do it again. I promise. Back to the show. Frank Ocean's journey began far away from the spotlight. In 2005, he relocated from New Orleans to Los Angeles, where he quickly immersed himself in LA's music scene. During this time, he was working fast food and service jobs, the starving artist life that we all go through in the music world. But in less than 3 years, he established himself as a songwriter under the name Lonnie Bro. He ended up signing a publishing deal and wrote for big artists like Justin Bieber, Brandy, and Beyonce. He also began making some big-time industry connections like Tyler, the Creator, and Our Future Collective. He appeared in their music videos, started performing at festivals like Coachella. But his big moment came in 2000 when he met music producer Tricky Stewart, who helped him get a deal with Def Jam Recordings. But not long after that, his relationship with Def Jam got real sour. You see, he felt rejected by the label, so Frank took things into his own hand. All by himself, without the label's help, he released the mixtape Nostalgia Ultra in 2011. The project exploded. His standout track Novocaine charted despite minimal industry support.
I was in the car and my husband was playing this music, and this guy's tone and his lyrics just touched me. And after one song, I said, okay, who is that? Because I want them on a flight tonight. And he told me it was Frank Ocean. And I immediately reached out, and he came in the next day and we did like 5 or 6 songs. And he is just so humble, such a nice person. Really, really talented, very fast. He just has so many ideas, and it's great because he's an artist, and I can't wait for everyone to hear him because he's just the truth.
With the massive buzz around Nostalgia Ultra, Frank Ocean gained significant leverage. You see, Def Jam got in line real fast. They offered full support of his debut album, Channel Orange, which debuted at #2 on the Billboard charts. Channel Orange brought massive success, but just like most record deals, he had to pay back his advance to Def Jam. However, little did they know, Frank was already planning his escape. By 2016, he still owed Def Jam one more album, but instead of giving him his highly anticipated second project, Frank came up with a master plan. It was a plan that completely flipped the industry on his head. You see, he dropped the Apple-exclusive visual album, Endless. It was a video that featured his music while showing Frank building a staircase. But just 24 hours after that, Frank shocked everybody and dropped his real project, Blonde. The release was kept completely secret. He only carried copies on hard drives and didn't even tell Apple executives until the last minute to avoid leaks. Blonde immediately became a massive success with no label to take profits.
He had a deal and he didn't put out an album in 4 years. And with his deal, he literally figured out how to get $20 million from Lucien Grange drop his deal, figure out how to make the funds apply to a whole nother album, give him a bullshit album, get out his deal all in one round. That man figured out how to finesse the record industry, and people don't talk about that. It took that man 2 years to do that shit. And then Blonde, he already got a $20 million check from Apple from that shit, and he didn't have to give any of that shit back to the label because he was already out his deal once he gave them Endless. Since 2016, already up 20 M.
Frank went from earning about only 14 to 17% royalty to about 70% of all the revenue, multiplying his earnings overnight. Frank said himself that the Endless visual album was the final move in a 7-year chess game with Def Jam just to get out of his contract. But this chess move angered Def Jam and their parent company Universal Music Group. They placed an immediate ban on all streaming exclusives. The executives, they felt betrayed. How dare Frank do this to us? But the creative community applauded Frank. They got behind his back and celebrated his independence. And by 2023, he became the most streamed independent artist on Spotify. Over 14 billion streams. Frank didn't just outsmart the major label, he changed the game, proving artists can maintain full control and still achieve massive success. His label heist remains legendary, influencing how artists negotiate their deals and inspiring a whole new wave of independence in the music industry. Before she was a billionaire, Rihanna was just an average 15-year-old girl from Barbados. She was discovered by a producer named Evan Rogers. Evan was on vacation when he noticed Rihanna while she was performing with a local girl group. He was so impressed with her that he invited her back to New York City to record some demos. Those early demos made it to Def Jam, where Jay-Z heard an early version upon the replay and invited her to audition. She walked into the office, sang a Whitney Houston ballad,
And then a hero comes along.
and left at 3 a.m. with a contract. Now I'm sure you know how the story goes. She dropped Pon the Replay, she became a megastar, Umbrella came out. It was insanity. But what's crazy is they had her on an album a year pace. A crazy pace for any artist. But just like almost every other industry story, she didn't own her masters. At least not yet. After her 2016 album Anti, she made a move nobody saw coming. She stopped releasing music altogether. No new singles, no tour, no album. Fans kept asking, where's the next Rihanna project? But her answer was already in motion. It just wasn't in the studio. Rewinding back to 2014, Rihanna made a power move. She left Def Jam and signed fully with Jay-Z's Roc Nation. But this wasn't just a change in management. You see, behind the scenes, Rihanna negotiated ownership of her earlier masters. This set a precedent at the time because most artists have to either buy their masters back or legally fight for them, but she used her leverage to regain control. Now, what happens next is pretty crazy because you see, some artists actually do write some of their music, like Taylor Swift. Those artists tend to get bigger royalty splits. But because Rihanna didn't really write her own music, she usually had big teams of people working on her albums. So Rihanna decided to make most of her money a different way. In 2017, Rihanna dropped something nobody expected, a makeup line, Fenty Beauty. By 2020, Fenty Beauty was pulling in over $550 million a year, and Rihanna owns 50% of it. See, in business, they do something that's called an evaluation, where they determine how much a company is worth. And Rihanna's 50% stake in Fenty Beauty is worth about $1.4 billion. But she wasn't done. In 2018, Rihanna launched Savage Fenty. Within a few years, the company hit a $1 billion valuation, and Rihanna's stake was about 30%. So, if you're keeping up with the math, that's another $300 million added to her net worth. She wasn't just breaking into new markets, she was dominating. By 2020, Rihanna's net worth was well over $1 billion, making her the richest female musician in the world. And the twist is, most of it didn't come from music. Music made her a household name, but Fenty Beauty and Savage Fenty made her a billionaire. Over 80% of her wealth comes from her companies instead of touring, streaming, or album sales. You see, she didn't need music to stay relevant. She just needed to own her brand, build products, and cash the checks. She didn't necessarily walk away from music, but she ended up building something much bigger. She proved that you don't need to keep performing and killing yourself and sucking up to the label just to make a living. Some people say Rihanna disappeared, but she just leveled up. While other artists fought hard to escape the label system, Drake mastered it. From day one, Drake played it smart. He signed with Lil Wayne's Young Money, and Young Money was under Universal. Now, the contract wasn't perfect. He had to split royalties across multiple entities, but it had a huge payoff. Drake took that momentum, capitalized, and he ran with it. By 2018, his original deal was done, and Drake wasn't just an artist anymore. He was a free agent with leverage. Every major label wanted him, but Universal was licking their chops. They cut him a record-breaking deal worth over $400 million, one of the biggest artist contracts in history. Drake signed what's called a 360 deal. But this wasn't your average 360 deal. So typically what happens is the label will invest a certain amount of money, they pay you in advance, and they offer support in different areas to help you elevate, make more profits, and in exchange, they make more profits because they have to recoup their money, they get a percentage of what you make, and this is everything that you do. It's not just music. It's the albums, it's the tours, it's the merchandise, and even your endorsement deals. And of course, they own your masters too. They basically own you for a price. But what makes Drake's deal different is he had way more leverage. The insane amount of the advance shows how far the record label was willing to go just to ride his coattails. And even though all the details aren't public, it's likely that he was able to negotiate a higher than normal royalty split. During his rise, Drake wasn't just building hits, he was building his company. In 2012, he launched OVO Sound. They signed artists like Party Next Door, Majid Jordan, and they operated under Warner Music Group, while Drake himself stayed with Universal. This setup let him play both sides, artist on one major label and executive on another one. Total control. Now, early on, Drake didn't own his masters, but his power grew so much that he was able to start making certain demands. By 2022, he renegotiated his Universal contract and locked down ownership of all future masters. Instead of selling them, he gives the label a license to use the music. Basically, he lets the label use and exploit his music for a percentage of the profits. Drake still gets the benefits of a big marketing machine while still keeping ownership and control over everything. He flipped the power dynamic while working within the system. And with that freedom, Drake can pretty much do whatever he wants. He can drop surprise projects, he can genre hop whenever he wants to. He runs his entire career like a CEO. He's no longer at the mercy of the label. You see, they work for him.
Do you feel like you are successful?
Yes, I do. I always want more. I think less than the dollar value, it's just more about the idea of growth and business mindset.
I mean, honestly, he's the engine that keeps the industry running. And whether they like it or not, the labels know it. He's partnered with Nike, Apple Music, Beats by Dre, Sprite, and some people say he lost the beef battle to Kendrick, but you gotta admit, Drake's business moves are unmatched right now in the rap game. Around the time Destiny's Child was taking a break in 2001, Beyonce signed a 3-album solo contract with Columbia Records. She got a $1.5 million advance, and it's no secret that Beyonce went on to be one of the greatest artists of all time. But what's even more interesting is how she handled her business. She started negotiating higher royalties and executive producer status on her albums and her videos. And by 2010, she had seen enough of Hollywood and understood enough of label economics to know she wanted to take things into her own hands. You see, she wanted something that's called vertical integration. It's when a company takes full control of every step of the process. They take control over the production and the sales instead of relying on middlemen and others to do the job for you. To accomplish this, she started Parkwood Entertainment, her own all-in-one empire. Music, tours, films, fashion, marketing. Beyonce controls it all. Beyonce don't answer to no label. She is the label.
What, nigga? I am your manager. What's up? You're the manager? That's right. How am I hiring you? You done. That's it. Your job is done, nigga. Get out.
The turning point came in 2011 when she parted ways with her manager, aka her father. It wasn't just a family decision. It was more of a business move because from that moment on, Beyonce managed herself. It gave her full control and complete financial power over everything she was doing. In 2013, she proved just how powerful she was because with zero promo, zero warning, she dropped her self-titled visual album on iTunes. No rollout, no radio push or anything like that, just Beyonce. And it broke the internet. People went crazy.
Beyonce, a few months later, just drops that Beyonce album. She does like 700,000, 800,000, changed the entire music industry. She changed the music industry that day.
With that surprise album.
Let me tell you why. Because she didn't give the audience a chance to think.
We all know she was on top musically, but business-wise, she was crushing it too. She negotiated ownership of her old masters, and after 2011, she owned everything through Parkwood. Beyonce controls how her music is used, licensed, and monetized. Every time a movie or a commercial or a brand wants to use a Beyonce song, they're basically cutting a check directly to her. With an estimated net worth of around $780 million, Beyonce isn't just one of the most successful artists of all time, she's one of the richest. And her biggest bag has to be her tours. The Renaissance World Tour did $579 million. The Formation World Tour did $256 million. But the music isn't the only revenue stream. She's got the Ivy Park clothing line. She's got multi-million-dollar deals with Pepsi, L'Oreal, and a Netflix deal too. And obviously she's married to Jay-Z, so you know she got stakes in his company too. What makes Beyonce so impressive is that while she's doing all of this, she's still at the top of the music game. Because most artists who tend to become business moguls, they usually slow down musically. They stop making albums or they only release one every couple of years. But Beyonce puts out hit after hit after hit. Imagine being LeBron James and you're playing ball every night, you're scoring triple doubles, and at the same time, you're the team owner and you gotta run the organization too. That's Beyonce. From writing and producing to mixing every track himself, Russ built his empire from scratch. Between 2011 and 2014, he dropped 11 mixtapes all by himself. Then he did what no label would dare do for their artists. He released a new song every single week on SoundCloud.
I was sitting in the basement with no industry people on my phone, dropping a song a week from the basement and going to sleep and waking up and hoping it had 1 million plays. And it didn't, and then finally it started getting 1 million plays after about fucking 50 weeks in a row.
And the grind paid off. He built a massive fan base before the industry even knew what happened. When Columbia Records came calling in 2016, Russ made it loud and clear. He was doing it his way. He signed a short-term deal that gave him the machine, but he kept his independence. But in June 2020, he shocked everybody and announced that he was going back 100% independent again. You see, Russ didn't need a major label to handle his career. He came out and said, there's nothing you can do as a major label artist that you can't do independently.
It's a smash in the first week, but it's like they spent $1 million on the song.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, so that's not real life. The more like accurate, realistic thing that's gonna happen to you, like I said, I've had 3 songs that have ever just gone dumb out of 500. The more accurate thing is you're gonna put out a song, it's not gonna do shit, and if it does take off, it's gonna be next year. Or in 2 years from now. Like I put out Breathe 3/15, 2021. That shit now is like having its biggest streaming days.
It wasn't just a move, it was a complete message to every other artist out there. Ownership over everything. You see, Russ did it the right way. He built himself up first, so then the labels came to him. He owned his masters, and he made sure, even when he signed with Columbia, he owned his earlier work too.
Make it a 3-album deal. Right. And make sure they have release commitments. The release commitment is real, and the reversions. You guys can participate in the profits, but after 10 years, no, you can't. Those 3 albums that I did with Columbia, we still split 50-50 on.
But while he was with Columbia, he noticed he had a $40,000 decrease in his streaming revenue, and that was all he needed to see before he bounced. He founded his own label, and he wanted to help other artists own their masters too. He spoke about how record labels made billions because they own other artists' catalogs. He wanted artists to know how important it is to own your own catalog instead of splitting profits with these big companies. Now, Russ also brought the receipts. In 2020, he posted his streaming revenue for everybody to see. You see, in 2013, he only made $48, right? Then in 2016, he was pulling in $100,000 a month.
May, June of 2016, because like June is when I partnered with Columbia.
Yes.
I'm making $100 grand a month. Kylie Jenner has posted my shit. I'm charting on iTunes. I sold out my tours. Like, I have more tours booked. I have songs coming out as we speak. And I'm sitting on a debut that I know is dumb. And Losing Control of What They Want are going crazy.
And in 2023, $223,000 in 1 week. It's crazy. The kind of numbers that Russ was doing are numbers that artists only dream of because most of them have to split everything so many different ways. Now, streaming don't pay that much anyway. You don't even get 1 cent per stream. So think of having to split less than 1 cent 5 or 6 different ways. Just like Chance the Rapper, Russ proves you don't need a label. You just need consistency, control, and the knowledge of how to reach your audience. In 2018, Forbes listed him as one of hip-hop's highest earners, pulling in $15 million without a major label push. By 2024, his net worth was estimated around $10 million, and it's all self-made. He had hits like What They Want and Losing Control, all bringing in millions of streams every month. His tour sold out, his merch was moving. He even had a book on the bestsellers list. Every dime goes straight to him because he owns everything. Russ didn't just hack the industry, he built a new one. But what's the point of all this? Well, first of all, it is fun and entertaining to hear these kinds of stories, but more importantly, these are lessons that I think we can all learn from. Whether you work in the music industry like me or whether you're working a 9-to-5, you see, most of us work for a company. We don't own anything. We work hard and we hustle just to have a piece of the pie. Now, we can't all go out and start Rockefeller Records, but what we can do is start doing things like investing and starting a small business and just try to get some ownership. Now, I'm sure you heard all the cliches of get into real estate, get into the stock market, which you should do that, but I think the lesson from the artist in this video is build your brand, and that way you can monetize yourself. Let me give you an example. Let's say you work at McDonald's, right? You can use the Beyonce method. What you can do is learn everything you need to know about fast food service, and you can take that and then you can leverage it. You can start your own social media show where you review burgers, or you can get really good at cooking and start a show like McDonald's employee makes 5-star meal. Then down the road, you can start your own sauce company, open your own restaurant. I'm giving you the game, baby. No, but seriously, I didn't make this video to be educational, but honestly, I'm always analyzing success stories and seeing what I can take from it, what I can learn from it, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. But let me know in the comments, who do you think should be on this list? Who else escaped the industry trap? Also, before you go, if you want to see the flip side to this story, watch this video on the screen next, where I go into why almost all artists actually go broke, or at least end up in a lot of debt. If you haven't seen that video yet, it's entertaining, but it's also a cautionary tale on what not to do. So I'll see you over there. Until next time.